ลากไปตบกลางสี่แยก Mom get off your soapbox already a person you share a bed with
Not literally.
Not literally okay
Politics are something that affect every person in every country in the world.
สาดโคลน
Wow, he's using a lot of mudslinging in his campaign. Or in some cases, it might be because you've been a little brainwashed.
หรือว่าการแสดงความเห็นโดยการไม่พูดอะไรเลยนั่นคือความเห็นแล้ว Welcome to Talk a Native Episode 1. My name is Vic from the Standard KND.
And my name is Christine from RELO, which is the Regional English Language Office of the U.S. Embassy.
Hi, Christine.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good. Exciting.
I'm super excited.
This is exciting.
And a little nervous.
Yeah, me too. But in a good way, I suppose.
Absolutely.
Okay, so this is where we're talking to a native speaker of English language. But I just want to say this first, that I don't think that everybody has to sound like a native speaker because that's not necessary. And you don't have to have the native accent in order to make a conversation with a native speaker or anybody in the world, right?
Absolutely. I think people get very hung up on their accents, and I don't think it's necessary at all. I think if you have an accent, it just means you speak more than one language, and that's a badge of honor.
That's true.
Absolutely.
เพราะฉะนั้นย้ำอีกครั้งหนึ่งรายการนี้ Talk a native ไม่ได้บอกว่าคุณต้องมีสำเนียงหรือวิธีการพูดให้เหมือนกับ native นะครับแต่ว่าเราหวังว่าคุณจะได้เรียนรู้อะไรบางอย่างจากการพูดคุยกับคนที่เป็น native speaker of English language. So what do you think Thai people can benefit from talking to a native speaker?
Well, I think first of all, you can make a new friend, which is always nice. And by building that relationship, you can learn more about culture and learn more about that person's perspectives.
Yeah.
And I think that will help you learn the language faster because language and culture, as we've said before, are so inextricably linked.
And it's fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's a lot more fun learning from a person.
Yes.
Yeah, as opposed to just textbook.
Textbooks are boring.
But we're not saying that textbooks are bad.
No, we're not saying that at all. I'm a teacher. I'm not allowed to say that. The teacher police will come and take me away.
So what are we talking about today, Christine?
So today, in light of recent events here in Thailand, i.e. the election, we are going to talk about political idioms.
Of course, because this is huge and this is what everybody's talking about right now in Thailand.
Absolutely.
การเมืองหลายๆคนอาจจะคิดว่าเป็นเรื่องไกลตัวนะครับ So this is not something that is not relatable to you at all because politics is very close to us, like closer than you think.
Absolutely.
And there might be a lot of opportunities for you to talk about politics or borrowing from the political context and use some idioms or expressions in your everyday life.
Absolutely. Politics are something that affect every person in every country in the world. And I think sometimes it's hard to talk about politics in another language because it does require a different set of vocabulary and language. So I think this is a very appropriate topic for right now.
วันนี้จะเป็นเรื่องเกี่ยวกับศัพท์สำนวนนะครับที่คุณสามารถจะเอาไปใช้ได้เมื่อต้องการคุยเรื่องการเมืองหรือต้องการยืมสำนวนในการเมืองมาใช้ในบริบทอื่นๆไปดูซิว่ามีสำนวนอะไรบ้างที่น่าสนใจนะครับ So let's jump right in.
Let's do it. So we've selected a few words for you guys to learn. So the first one is front runner.
So runner means someone who runs, and front means not in the back.
Absolutely, yeah.
But it means what?
Well, you described what I picture when I see front runner. When I say front runner, I picture a race, people running, right? And the front runner is the person who is winning the race. They're at the front of that line. So a front runner in an election or any kind of competition would be the person that is in the lead.
Does it have anything to do with run in the sense of running for like the office or like for presidency or something like that?
Absolutely. When you are campaigning, you are running for office, as you said. So if you are the front runner, you are the most popular. Right? You are the leader of this race.
And you might have the most chance to win?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the idea.
yeah front runner เพราะฉะนั้นก็คือคนที่ตอนนี้กำลังมีคะแนนนำกำลังโด่งดังที่สุดเป็นที่พูดถึงมากที่สุดและมีโอกาสมากที่สุดที่จะได้รับเลือกนะครับ so how can we use the phrase front runner in like everyday conversation
Well, when you're using it to talk about politics, that's quite obvious. You could also use it to talk about any kind of competition, really. I mean, if you were watching the Olympics, for example, and you're trying to see, who's going to win, you might talk about the front runner there. If you're talking about maybe at your job, if there's some type of product you're trying to market and sell, and maybe you have a specific product that's doing better than others, you might say that one is the front runner.
Oh, it doesn't have to be a person. It doesn't have to be people.
Not at all.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So talking about the race, I have another one for you.
Sure.
The two-horse race. Horsey, ม้านะครับ two horse. So there's only two horse in the competition. What do you think that means? รู้ไหมครับลองเดาไหมครับว่ามันจะแปลว่าอะไรถ้าในการแข่งขันมีม้าแค่2ตัว Okay, so what does it mean?
Well, exactly what you picture when you say a two-horse race. You see two horses, right? So instead of there being 3 or 4 or 5 horses or groups or political parties that are competing, maybe it's down to 2. Or if it's a one-horse race, you have that obvious front runner, right?
Okay. So you can even say one horse race too.
Absolutely.
Okay,
yeah.
so there's only one horse. So it's like it's a sure thing.
Right, they're
that
going
you
to
will
win.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So in any circumstance that you can like get that feeling that this is like not I don't even see other candidates or other competitors and only those two or that one, you can use this.
Absolutely. So you can use it in politics, you could use it in any situation. I mean, let's say you're dating
Okay.
multiple people, and maybe you're trying to decide which one you really want to invest in. You're like, so far it's a two-horse race between this person and that person.
ฟังดูสวยมาก มีตัวเลือกมากมายแต่ตอนนี้รู้สึกว่าเข้ารอบมา2คนสุดท้ายก็น่าจะเป็น2คนนี้ไม่คนใดก็คนหนึ่ง so either this one or that one nobody else
Right.
basically
There's 2 people in the running,
okay
basically.
right okay เราได้คำว่า front runner ได้คำว่า two horse race or one horse race แล้วนะครับ any other idioms that you want to talk about
Yeah, when it comes to political campaigns especially, we often hear the word mudslinging. So we know what mud is, right? Like dirty, gross. So if you are mudslinging, you are throwing mud. Obviously, you're not literally throwing mud, although...
but sling like slingshot like you
Maybe.
Okay.
Although it might be hard to get mud in a slingshot.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, okay.
Maybe you're picking it up with your hands. But the idea
Right.
is that you are running a campaign against another person and you are dragging their name through the mud.
Okay, so get them dirty.
Yes, you're trying to make them look bad.
Actually, in Thai, we say exactly same thing.
Really?
Yeah, สาดโคลน สาด means like throw, and โคลน means mud. So it's the same idea.
Same, not different.
Yeah, same, not different. Exactly. So you can say you try to mudsling someone.
Yeah, so you might say like, wow, he's using a lot of mudslinging in his campaign, or this has been a campaign of mudslinging. Or you might say, she's really dragging his name through the mud. Really making, maybe revealing their secrets or making them look really bad.
I see. Okay, so talking about mud gets me thinking about like soap. So you want to clean it up a little, which brings me to this idiom to get on the soapbox or get off the soapbox. So the soapbox means a soapbox. How can we make that any clearer so เป็นลังสบู่นะครับลองคิดภาพคนที่ขึ้นไปยืนบนลังสบู่แล้วก็ทำการปาฐกถาพูดหาเสียงนั่นก็คือความหมายของ get on the soapbox so basically it means you get on the platform of some kind and then you talk about what you believe in what do you want people to do basically right
Absolutely. Usually, if you are on your soapbox, you have a very strong opinion about something that you feel compelled to share. My mom used to get on her soapbox a lot. And she'd be like, okay, I'm done. I'll get off my soapbox. But it was when
After she's done with her speech.
Exactly. You know, and we're like, we're watching TV and we're like, what are you talking about? But yeah, you have a very strong opinion and you feel this need to share it.
And when you're done, you can get off the soapbox.
Yes.
And you can even say, like, get off your soapbox.
Yeah.
Because you might think like you're talking too much now. Just
Yeah. But not to your mom.
Not to your mom. Not to your mom. It depends on the relationship or the kind of relationship you have in your family. Because I think I can picture like saying to my mom, like, Mom, get off your soapbox already.
Yeah.
In a very loving way.
Let it go.
Okay, so now you have another idiom just to voice your opinion about like trying to talk to people about something that you feel very passionate about and just done doing that.
Absolutely.
Get on the soapbox and get off the soapbox.
Yep. And we say get off your soapbox.
Okay.
Get off or get on your soapbox.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you
like that.
use like your specifically.
I'm going to get on my soapbox. Like
Okay.
That. Yeah.
All right. Next.
All right. So next, now this is a word we probably only use with politics, but it is possible to use in other situations. It is strange bedfellows.
Bedfellows. So fellow basically means friends, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a person.
A person that
Yep.
you're with. Okay.
Exactly.
So a person you share a bed with?
Not literally.
Not literally, okay. But in this sense, it means what?
So a strange bedfellow in this sense means that there are two people that have formed some kind of political alliance or agreement, but it's unexpected. It seems very strange. Like, for example, if you have someone who's normally very liberal partnering with someone who's very conservative, they might make strange bedfellows.
โอเค ก็เป็นการจับคู่กันของตัวละครสองตัว คนสองคนสองฝักสองฝ่าย ที่ไม่น่าจะมาอยู่ด้วยกันได้ เพราะว่าเขาต่างกันอย่างยิ่ง และไม่มีใครคาดหวังว่าเขาจะมาจับคู่กันได้ นั่นคือความหมายของ strange bedfellows. Okay, so how do you use it in a sentence?
I might say maybe something like adversity makes strange bedfellows. Because sometimes when times are tough, you might find yourself partnering with people you never imagined.
So adversity, what does it mean?
So adversity is anything difficult or hard when you meet some type of challenge or block.
ปัญหาอุปสรรคความยากลำบากต่างๆนั่นคือ adversity ซึ่งบางครั้งพอเราเผชิญปัญหาเดียวกันอาจจะต้องไปจับคู่จับขั้วกับคนที่ดูเหมือนผิดฝาผิดตัวมากแต่เพื่อความอยู่รอด so you do it for like surviving.
Absolutely.
You have to survive the situation.
Absolutely.
And sometimes you have to like bite the bullet, would you say?
Sometimes you do.
Yeah.
And you might find yourself in a strange partnership or with a strange bedfellow.
Yeah, but you have to do it. Otherwise, both of you would die.
Absolutely.
Probably. Yeah.
That's the idea.
Okay. So another one that I like a lot, it's spin doctor. And this person is not a doctor.
No.
No. But spin doctor. So let's talk about the word spin first. What does it mean, like literally?
So literally, you can spin something, spin a record, maybe. But you can also put a spin on something.
So it could be a noun.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Or in that case, I guess it'd be a phrasal verb.
A
put
phrasal.
A spin.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see.
But like if there's an event that happens that maybe the public takes in a negative way or an uncomfortable way, you could put a positive spin on it. Right?
So actually it's not good, but you want to make it look good.
Yes. And maybe it's not so bad. Maybe you're just trying to get them to look at it in a different light.
Oh, okay.
It depends.
I see.
Yeah.
So a doctor here means someone who like fix things, right?
Yeah.
Spin doctor ก็คือคนที่เอาจริงๆมันคือการสมมติหมุนนะมันก็คือปั่นเพราะฉะนั้นคือการปั่นเพื่อให้เกิดกระแสบางอย่าง เพื่อสร้างภาพบางอย่างเหตุการณ์ที่มันกำลังจะแย่ๆร้ายๆโดนโจมตีปั่นให้มันกลายเป็นเรื่องที่ดีงามขึ้นมาปั่นให้กลายเป็นอีกฝั่งอีกฝ่ายหนึ่งเป็นคนผิดขึ้นมานั่นก็คือทักษะของการสปินของคนที่ชื่อว่าเป็นสปินด็อกเตอร์นะครับ so a spin doctor is someone whose job is to present information to the public about a politician, a company, an organization in a way that makes them look good.
Absolutely. They're kind of like their PR, their public relation person that, they have to put a positive spin on some kind of negative event.
But it's like very situational too. They get to work when something bad happens. To fix the situation.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And obviously, their job title isn't spin doctor.
No. Oh, what would the official title for this profession be?
I think it depends. For a politician, maybe their spokesperson.
Yeah.
Their representative of some kind.
Okay.
Usually these people work in public relations of some type.
Yeah, but their job is to act like a spin doctor.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a big part of their job.
Good. Let's go to the next one.
All right. Well, sometimes as a politician, you might find yourself towing the party line.
Toe like toe? Like T-O-E?
Not your toe. I think more about like pulling.
Oh.
Like when you tow a car.
Okay, so
right?
T-O-W? Is it
It
the
is
word?
spelled T-O-E, like a toe.
Uh-huh.
Like on your foot. That's a good question.
Okay, you said the whole thing is toe the party line. Like if there's a line, you have to put your toe like...
I see what you mean. No, I guess the line here could be the line, the ideas that or the values that your party supports.
Like slogans or something that your party believes in.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Some
So
type of
when
policies, maybe.
Yeah. So when you toe the party line, what usually happens here?
Yeah. So in this case, all politicians are part of usually a bigger party, right? And they have their own individual ideas, but they are part of this group. So sometimes they might find themselves maybe in conflict with their party and be like, I really don't like these things that my group has decided on, but I have to toe the party line. So I'm going to support it. I'm going to vote for it, even though it's not my personal preference. So you toe the party line.
So you have to like comply with the bigger idea or what your group says. Otherwise, you might be punished in some way, or you might be ostracized, like kicked out of the group.
Possibly. I think with politics, you're usually afraid of losing votes more than anything.
Sure.
But also, if you want your group to win, I think a lot of times is why people toe the party line.
Yeah. ลองคิดถึงบริบทของการเมืองตอนนี้ก็ได้ว่าพรรคมีความเชื่ออย่างหนึ่งพรรคอยากให้โหวตอย่างหนึ่งแต่แม้ว่าเราจะมีความเห็นที่ต่างไปนะครับแต่เราต้อง toe the party line ก็คือต้องโหวตตามพรรคอ่ะไม่งั้นอาจจะโดนลงโทษได้อาจจะโดนขับออกอาจจะแบบโหวตเตอร์ของคุณอาจจะแบบทำไมสมาชิกของพรรคคนนี้ถึงคิดแบบนี้ที่สวนโหวตสวนกระแสพรรคอะไรอย่างนี้เป็นต้นโหวตสวนมติของพรรคเพราะฉะนั้นเราต้อง toe the party line เพื่อแสดงความแบบเป็นอันหนึ่งอันเดียว so you have to show your like I want to be like in unity with the party.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's another expression we use that's take one for the team.
Oh yeah, I like that one.
It's very similar to this. It's not exactly the same, but the idea is you're making this sacrifice for the group.
Okay, sacrifice here being you have to like put down your ego or your personal thinking and then just go with the whole team.
Right.
Okay.
Right or wrong.
All right. Right or wrong. You have to.
Yeah, it's not always a great thing.
อย่าโหวตส่วนพรรคประมาณนั้นนั่นเองนะครับ There's another expression that I've heard like this is like a long time ago. It's like cultural reference to like drink the Kool-Aid.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Kool-Aid is a name of like the brand
Yes.
of the soda.
Yeah, I used to drink so much Kool-Aid when I was a kid.
Really?
'Cause
ต้อง
taking me
ขึ้น
back.
ภาพแล้วตอนนี้นะครับ Kool-Aid เป็นเครื่องดื่มประเภทหนึ่งซึ่ง Does it still around? Is it still around?
Yeah.
Really?
The Kool-Aid's for sure still around. It's just like this powder you would put in water and mix it up, and it makes kind of like a fruit punch kind of drink.
Yeah. So the expression goes like, drink the Kool-Aid, and it means what?
So this expression, drink the Kool-Aid, means we hear it sometimes in a little bit in politics, but more so in the corporate world, I think. It's when you abide by the values or rules or goals of your organization or company, even though you might not want to, or in some cases it might be because you've been a little brainwashed.
Actually, this comes from the real event that happened a long time ago, and it's a cult thing too.
Yeah.
Can you tell the story?
Yeah. So this comes from a cult. I think it was called the Jonestown Cult in 1978, and this cult leader had relocated his cult followers to somewhere in Central America, and he knew he was about to get caught. So he created this drink, might have been from Kool-Aid, we don't know, but it had cyanide in it. And he convinced his followers, because they were so brainwashed, to drink this, and if they drank it, they would go to heaven. Right? So he really did it just to cover his own behind, because he knew he was about to be arrested.
Right.
But they did it because they really thought like this was the answer. So I think sometimes people might do that with especially work. A lot of times it's like, okay, I'll drink the Kool-Aid because I want to make the money, or I want that bonus, or I want to get promoted. Like maybe you do things you don't necessarily love or that you wouldn't have done before, but you're doing it because you want this greater reward.
เป็นคำที่แบบเขามีความเคานิดนึงมีความลัทธินิดนึงอย่างที่คริสตินเล่าไปนะครับก็คือมันเป็นสำนวนที่พูดถึงการที่สุดแล้วเนี่ยเรายอมทำตามในสิ่งที่เราอาจจะไม่ได้เชื่อขนาดนั้นแต่เพราะเราต้องการอะไรบางอย่างเช่นต้องการเงินต้องการชื่อเสียงต้องการที่จะอยู่กับกลุ่มนี้ซึ่งมีลาภยศสรรเสริญใดๆต่างๆหรืออาจจะใช้ในบริบทของการที่เราพูดถึงคนที่เหมือนกับโดนล้างสมองไปแล้วอะคือแบบไปฟังเรื่องนี้มากไปดูข่าวสำนักนี้มากไปฟังคนนี้พูดเยอะก็เหมือนกับโดนเขากล่อมเกล่าทางจิตใจแบบโดนล้างสมองไปแล้วก็คือ drink the Kool-Aid อันนี้เป็นสำนวนที่เอาไว้ใช้ได้นะครับ Nice bonus
I got
expression.
all that.
Okay, you're pretty good.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, let's move on to the next one. So we're talking about toe, like possible the finger on your feet, like toe. So now let's talk about like the whole feet. To vote with your feet. So you've heard that, right? For sure.
For sure.
Yeah. Okay. So to vote ก็คือลงเสียงเลือกนะครับ with your feet เราไม่ได้ใช้มือกาแต่ว่าใช้เท้าในการออกเสียงเลือกตั้ง What does it mean?
So basically, if you vote with your feet, you leave.
So you're saying no by not saying no, like verbally, but you just walk out of the room.
Exactly. You're not going to say anything necessarily or make a big fuss, but you're out. I'm done. Bye.
Okay. It's like silence is your answer. Something like that.
Absolutely.
โหวตโดยการไม่พูดอะไรเลยนั่นก็คือการโหวตเหมือนกันหรือว่าการแสดงความเห็นโดยการไม่พูดอะไรเลยนั่นคือความเห็นแล้วแต่ vote with your feet ก็คือเราแสดงความไม่เห็นด้วยการเดินออกไปเลย walk out นะครับนั่นก็คือ vote with your feet so this could be said in like several occasions and like contexts I think
Absolutely. Yeah, I used to have a boss that would say it all the time.
Yeah?
At the time we were working with middle school students and it was like an after school program. This was ages ago. And when we would talk about like programming or activities we had coming up, he would say, well, the kids will vote with their feet. We'll find out because they won't necessarily say they don't like it, but if they don't, they're not coming back.
Yeah, or they're not showing up in the first place.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. Nice expression to use. Okay. Do you think it's like good or bad, like thing to do?
To vote with your feet?
Yeah. What do you think?
I think it's okay. I think it depends on the context, right? And the situation. Like for example, at a restaurant, if I go to a restaurant and I don't love it, well, I'm not going to complain. I mean, if I don't love it, I just won't come back.
Okay.
I'm not going to be rude about it, but at the same time, I'm not going to spend any more money there. But I think it depends on the situation, right?
Yeah, so it's not good or bad by itself.
No, not necessarily.
Okay, like most things in the world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, let's go to the next expression. So the last two.
Okay. So
it's pretty colorful and of course I think that it comes with a story too. Yeah. Which is
always. So the next word is witch hunt. So we hear this a lot when it comes to political campaigns. But also after people have been elected as well. You might say that one party is on a witch hunt against another party, for example. So this is when you have singled out someone or a group and you're trying to demonize them. You're trying to make them look really bad, make them look evil to the point that people are ready to cancel them.
Okay. So demonize, that's cool. Cool word to use. So make someone a demon, right?
Yeah.
Demonize, right? And actually in Thai, we again use the exact
thing.
same word. Same thing. ล่าแม่มด So แม่มด means witch. And hunt is ล่า in Thai. So you hunt for a witch. Yeah, ล่าแม่มด
Do you use it in politics as well?
Yeah, of course, for sure. And we use it a lot on social media. We see it all the time on Twitter, for example. This could be very intense and could be super unfair.
Yes.
To most of the time unfair to the witch being hunted, right?
Usually, because if someone is that bad, we don't have to hunt. It's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
But usually, if you have to hunt one out, you really have to dig deep, and it does seem unfair, for sure.
Actually, it got me thinking of another expression in Thai. When we witch hunt someone, it's like we burn them in public, right? So in Thai, we say ลากไปตบกลางสี่แยก which means ลาก means drag, like drag someone or drag something, and สี่แยก is like intersection. So you can imagine me dragging someone and like leave them in the middle of the intersection and then just slap them senseless for the whole world to see. Yeah.
That public shaming.
Public shaming, for sure. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. It makes me, I think this came from like burning witches at the stake from way back when.
Right. Yeah. Dark age. Middle age. Yeah.
Medieval times. And it was often, women who weren't doing anything wrong at all.
Right.
But people had gotten it into their minds that they were evil and they must be destroyed.
Yeah. And just to make the example out of, so don't be like this person. Yeah. We're going to kill them and burn them in front of you so you don't become like this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Super evil. Okay. Last one. As evil as the one before. Fear-mongering. Yeah.
I think a witch hunt is a great way to instill fear-mongering. Yeah, so this is when you really try to motivate with fear.
Yeah. Which is, no, we don't want that, right? We don't want to be like persuaded by, if you don't do this, something bad's going to happen to you.
Absolutely.
Therefore, you have to vote for me, or therefore you have to like follow my orders. No, we don't want that. So instead of trying to get people to do things because if they do, great things are going to happen. They do the opposite. Like bad things going to happen to you. ถ้าไม่ทำตาม ถ้าไม่โหวตให้ มันจะมีสิ่งน่ากลัวที่เกิดขึ้น ก็คือเป็นการใช้ความกลัว ใช้ความเกลียดความกลัวเนี่ยมาเรียกคะแนนเสียงหรือว่าทำให้คนเนี่ยปฏิบัติตามสิ่งที่คุณต้องการ so fear mongering if it's a person does it call fear monger
A fearmonger?
A fearmonger? Okay. Yeah. So don't be a fearmonger.
No. That's never a great way to get what you want. I think it just I mean, it works, I guess. It does work.
You know what? Parents could be such a fearmonger.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Actually, in Bangsan, where I live, they have a temple that is like, they have all these statues that represent hell.
Yeah.
And I remember one of my colleagues took me there and she was kind of laughing. She said, yeah, this is where we take our kids so that we can make sure they don't do anything bad.
Yeah. If you tell a lie, you would become like this statue, which is like torturing from like spikes or something. Exactly. I don't know.
And their tongues are hanging out and their eyeballs.
Yeah.
Like,
that's fear mongering, man.
Yeah.
and parents could be such fear mongers.
Oh, definitely.
But they're doing it out of their love.
I think they want to protect their children, but also it is a way to control people. It is.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm not supporting it or not,
But it happens.
It does. It does happen.
Okay, so great 10 expressions with some bonus idioms, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, so what can we learn from this episode of Talk Native, you think?
Well, I think these are some great ways to expand your vocabulary. And I would encourage everybody, especially in light of recent events, to try to work this into the conversation. Even if you are speaking in Thai, maybe you can throw in an English word here and there, speak a little Thai-ish, and see if you can find a way to use these. Because talking about politics or art or religion, these things are, require a different set of words and language. So I think this is a very appropriate lesson for the moment.
Yeah, and we have given you 10, but of course there are a lot more. If you know any like political idioms or expressions or lingos that you want to share about politics, you can just put it in the comment section below.